You're watching Nevada Business Chronicles. Take a journey with us to see the innovative businesses that put Nevada on the business map. Connecting you with the businesses, events, and organizations that bring innovation and prosperity to the Nevada area, please welcome your host, Mitch Burney.
If you follow our shows, recently, back in January, we visited an organization called Power Health Reno. At that time, we introduced you to a new concept in healthcare called functional medicine, where they treat the individual, not the diagnosis. At that time, we also introduced Nicole, one of their patients that agreed to allow us to follow her case from the inception through her treatment program. And now we're about 3 months into her 6-month program and ready to provide you an update. Let's start by taking a look where Nicole started in her treatment.
So Nicole, what is it that brought you in here today? What is it that you're looking for us to maybe help you with?
So I was diagnosed with Lyme disease about a couple weeks ago, and I have a friend in my hometown that has been working on a Lyme treatment for about 2 years and is to the point that she can't hardly get out of bed. She's only awake 2 or 3 hours. And so I'm a single mom and the only source of income for me and my kiddo, and I work for a nonprofit here in town that helps commercially sexually exploited victims, and so I'm on the go a ton, and that's not really an option for me. So I reached out and found another lady that goes to my church who's been through the Lyme process, I guess you could say, and met with her and just asked her, like, knowing everything you've done for the past 10 years, what would you do differently? And she told me about your guys' practice and sold me on it.
Yeah, she had been there and then she came over here.
Yep.
Yeah. So having gone over all of your findings from the exam, we know what we're going to do test-wise now. Basically what we do in the beginning is you have a chronic stress syndrome that has to be addressed. If that syndrome is not addressed, we will never get long-term success on you. Okay, we'll get intermittent success, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for you to get better, be done, and be out of here and have the tools to stay better on your own. Our goal is ultimately to monitor you through all of this, and in the end, the product we should have is most of this stuff should be gone. You're not going to be 100% better because you have an autoimmune problem, but you are going to feel normal most of the time. You're going to have exercises that are going to keep that stress mechanism under control. You're going to have a diet exactly correct for your system, and you are going to have as few supplements as possible. Now, I understand that you've agreed to allow us to follow through on this program for this presentation, and that's something I really appreciate. I think a lot of people will be very excited to actually see what you're going to look and feel like a couple of months down the road. And we're pretty confident that the results here are going to be very good.
Awesome. When do we start?
All right. When do we start?
Right.
Nicole, it's been a few weeks, about a month since you first started working with Power Health, and we're here to get an update and see how things are going for you.
Okay.
What's it been like?
Well, I have dropped 17 pounds in the past about 4 weeks. I have last week had a sprint, I guess you could say, of about 10 days where I felt the best that I have felt, and I can't even remember how long. I had lots of energy. I was going to bed only because I knew it was time to go to bed, not because I felt exhausted and needed to. I was beating my alarm before it would even go off in the morning, waking up and just had energy like all day. So that was incredible. It was
a new experience.
Definitely like one that I had forgotten about.
You weren't sleeping at all more than a couple of hour increments before. So you had a 10-day really good period.
Yeah, and then Friday last week pretty much just kind of hit a brick wall. My insomnia came back, so not falling asleep till 1 or 2 in the morning and then waking up every 45 minutes to an hour in the middle of the night. I've had some really upset stomach where it's just really rumbling and popping and causing a lot of pain. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we're at now.
Dr. Gates, is she where she should be right now? I mean, 10 days in recent memory, the best 10 days she's had, says a lot. There's a lot of hope in that. What's how does this work? Where should she be?
So that's
right now?
absolutely normal. For chronic pain patients where they've had these problems for months or years, for them to get 10 minutes of relief is a good sign. So the fact that Nicole had 10 days of relief is beautiful. Now we know why she got exacerbated and her symptoms kind of returned this last week, and I'll explain why. So yes, for you to have 10 days of relief is awesome. What that says is that we're calming down the inflammation from your gastrointestinal tract that was affecting your brain, your frontal lobe as we talked about it, that was causing your anxiety responses to go at like 9,000 RPMs, and therefore for you to not have any energy and not be able to sleep. But there are reasons why this week that those symptoms came back, and largely because of your diet, nothing that you did wrong, you're doing everything right, but it's my job at this point to change a few things. Also, we have like 8 things that we still have not worked on relative to your physiology because we're so early on in the program. So as we talked about, we're working on your frontal lobe with the exercises in our back treatment area. That's what we're doing. Thus far, we're working on your insulin resistance, and we're working on inflammation from your gastrointestinal tract. But as you said, now you're starting to have more gastrointestinal symptoms because I put you on a certain diet. Now, it's interesting that some of the foods that you're eating right now, and you didn't know this till today, are actually exacerbating your gastrointestinal symptoms. So we have to change your diet completely again, which I know may be painful, but we need to do it. And then now we're going to start working on other components. We're going to start looking at your adrenal glands. As we talked about, you make 3 times the amount of stress hormones that an average individual makes in a given day. You make that in, well, you actually make it in one day what they would make in 3 days. And then also, we haven't worked on your iron yet. We haven't even started working on your thyroid yet either. So we still have a lot to do to get you sleeping better, to get your energy better. So yes, the 10 days that you had that were improved in terms of sleeping really good, and you didn't have, you know, low energy throughout the day, and you could stay up during the evening with your child, that's all fantastic. The little regression that we had this last week, don't worry about it. We're going to have ups and downs like that. You are like my prize student. You're perfect. You're giving 110% into this program. You need to keep doing it. And yes, I am changing your diet now. It's going to be more restrictive, I know. But it's going to be worth it in the long run. Because in the long run, we're shooting for you to have like that 10-day period that you just had for years. And that's what's possible. Okay, so keep it up.
Nicole, it's been close to 6 weeks since we've seen you last. Unbelievable. What happened to the other half of you? Oh my gosh.
Well, last time you guys were here, he literally had changed my diet that day and decreased even more of the fruits and vegetables that I could have. And Dr. Gates did it again. He took away meat, so I'm now strictly on a vegetarian diet, but that's probably been a huge result of that.
Well, you look great.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. I mean, just right there alone would be enough for most people to want to go through this.
Thank you.
There's been some other realities that have progressed through this time as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I feel like having the opportunity to experience good days, which I haven't had in years probably, brought a lot of clarity of thought, and so through that process have realized just some traumatic memories that have come up from my childhood and my past, and just really started to analyze the stress mechanisms that were going on in my brain to cause me to be in this really bad spot. And so having the good days gave me the clarity to start seeking out what are those triggers, what are the things that are causing it. And so I've been able to process and work through some of the traumatic memories, and also realize that my career path that I had chosen was a huge trigger for me, and was hindering what I'm trying to do here. So it's made some big life changes in the past couple of weeks, but they've been awesome. I've had huge numbers more, I guess you could say, of longer good days and getting more sleep at night. And so to the point where now I can instantly pinpoint the bad thing that causes me not to be able to sleep, or that causes me to kind of take steps backwards. Whereas before I just really had no clue what was going on.
It sounds like in the past everything was so out of control you couldn't really isolate what was happening. It just felt like everything was responsible. But once you started to have some really good, restful, quality days in life, you started to realize exactly what was fracturing that. And have been able to address those because you feel good enough and well enough to? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, definitely the clarity. It's almost like, I feel like it's like a ball of yarn where you don't know what ends or what, and it's just a rotted mess. And before, that was my life. Like, that was literally how everything was, and I couldn't pick things apart. And now I can have a bad day and I can find that string and I can trace it back to what caused it and then be able to address what that root problem was.
Amazing. What a transformation. You look great.
Thank you.
We're still going to have to go outside and see if we can find the other half.
Thank you.
Dr. Gates, it wasn't that many weeks ago that I first met Nicole, and I'm sorry to kind of say it this way, but really broken at that point in time. And what I'm seeing today is a completely different human being. Tell me, first of all, that's got to be so rewarding for you to do this for people throughout the entire year. But how does this actually happen? Because this is not the same person.
Well, first of all, we're a team. So she's a fantastic patient, and it doesn't happen if you don't have commitment on both sides. More specifically, though, relative to physiology, the stress response is underestimated in chronic disease. So the chronic stress that plagues the human body and the brain's inability to shut off that stress results in so many physiologic dysfunctions that then other people are chasing. We address those physiologic dysfunctions from the thyroid to the blood sugar to the hormones, but now by correcting her stress mechanism, she's sleeping better, she feels better, she has more energy because her adrenal glands can heal, and that's why the transformation has happened so quickly.
Physical, emotional, it's complete, but it's more than just losing weight and being able to sleep because you're feeling better physically. There's brain science that's going on, neurological science as well. Can you show us a little bit about that?
I'd be happy to.
Perfect.
Yes. Here we have a diagram of the brain and the metabolic aspects that were wrong with Nicole. Now in this office we integrate functional medicine with functional neurology. Really what that means is we figure out what was wrong in her metabolism that was messing up her brain and not allowing that stress mechanism to calm down. So for Nicole, that included conditions such as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is where the immune system attacks the thyroid. Her body was making too much cortisol. She was resistant to insulin, so when she was eating carbohydrates, she was making too much insulin. Since we've changed that, that's why she's lost weight, and that's part of the reason why her energy is coming back. In addition, we've been working with her female hormones as well as her gastrointestinal bacteria. The result of fixing all those different things is that then the frontal lobes can work better, and the exercises we give to the frontal lobes to strengthen them then can start to work. The end result, the fear area is shut off, and then the individual can start to sleep, they have better energy, they have better days because their body can then heal.
They're able to differentiate what the real triggers are in their life and then have the energy to even address those is what this sounds like. This is like an all-inclusive, functional medicine I think is a real new innovative concept to a lot of people. But if I'm getting this right, instead of treating out here I have headaches so we give aspirin for a headache, or over here I have stomach problems so we give you something for that, you're taking care of the physiology and the brain, and all of these things are disappearing outside of that.
You got it. And it sounds cheesy to say we get to the underlying cause, but with this model, we're really trying to get to the underlying causes here, because when you do, then the brain can resynchronize and the body can come back into balance.
And a transformation like this then becomes not just possible, but a reality every day of the week for you. With people that participate at the level that Nicole has, of course.
Absolutely. And again, she was a perfect patient. It takes that commitment on both sides, my commitment and the patient's commitment for this to happen. And she absolutely has had that.
And one thing I want to make sure too is that Nicole's not done here. This is about what? The midway point of her program?
Exactly. And we look at this as a fork in the road. Patients are on a path of chronic disease. Frankly, most of them are heading downhill. And then we stop and we look at what the aspects of the physiology are that are disturbed. We start to correct them. We start to get the brain in balance. And now they're on a different path. And as long as we keep following the principles and keep staying to the program, her path is going to be completely different than where she was going towards.
We've already seen a significant, undeniable change and transformation in Nicole's progress here. Would you be okay with us continuing to follow this through your completion of this program?
Absolutely.
Great.
Awesome.
Doctor, I'm thinking right now there are people that are inspired by Nicole's progress, that are thinking, all of my life I've been plagued with these things that I've tried and tried and tried, and many people have given up hope. And those are the people that should be contacting you. I think there are going to be some people inspired by Nicole's progress. How would they get a hold of you?
They get a hold of us by contacting us at 775-329-4402. They can also go to www.powerhealthreno.com.
That's Dr. Gates with Power Health in Reno. And Nicole, thank you so much for allowing us to follow your case and being so open with everybody so they can get a feel for what's possible for them too. Thank you.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
We are back at one of my favorite places in Northern Nevada, American Iron Gym, with Chad Ikes and Tamara Lopes. Thanks so much for having us back.
Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it.
This episode is going to be personally one of my favorite because it involves what you're doing in the field of special needs and working with those individuals, one of them being very personal to me, my son. So I can't wait to get started. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Anyone watching this has got to see how much fun he's having. But
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Changing his hands to behind his back. What's that about?
So one of the things that we noticed with Grant is that he had a hard time being able to integrate a lot of instruction at once. So we're separating things out with him. This allows him to focus more on his gait. And you notice when he did that is his gait straightened right up, right? Instead of that, the hip coming out, the
arms flailing.
Right, the body moving in the opposition to where it needs to move for the run. This stabilized him, so he was able to really focus on that gait. And so it's just some of the tricks that we're using and learning to try to help Grant.
Let's take a look at some of the other exercises. I would have never imagined when I first brought him here that Dan would get him on the treadmill. It's unbelievable.
You know, we talked about things that parents can do at home, right, with their kids. And a lot of people have treadmills in their garages that are covered with boxes and pull it out, use it together. So it's a great opportunity to work on movement patterns, right? And just get a child to move.
And look at this.
And he's having fun.
Yeah, he's having fun.
We make a game out of everything. And it may be short duration games, but it's something, it's movement.
Good. He's having fun doing it.
Absolutely.
And I'm having fun watching him do it.
Great. Yeah, he's doing very well.
Let's see what's next.
Okay. We noticed when you first brought him in is that he had no mobility to be able to move his shoulders and arms up. So little things like this with a PVC pipe, which weighs nothing at all, but giving him the ability and coordination to be able to move up over his head. So just simple movements that we make into a game with him that he enjoys doing.
Mobility, ability to reach for things. It's everyday life function is
Right.
what these exercises are all about, and I really
Right.
recognize that. When I see him reaching for things now, there's a different reach involved.
Yeah, definitely. And he, one of the things that you even were aware of is his weakness in his whole core. So unable to keep his body erect. The simple things that we take for granted that he couldn't do because he didn't have the muscle stability to do them. And we're seeing a rapid change with that.
Yeah, I can't wait to show one of the core strengthening techniques. Let's show that.
Great.
So there's lifting, throwing, strength, arms, muscles,
core stability.
balance.
Right. I'm done.
One more. Wow, that was a good throw.
That's really good.
And we're having fun.
Right. It's got to be fun.
What interests me about this exercise is leg strength, shoulder, arms.
Everything, yeah.
But it's what he looks forward to
The
every
most.
time he's here. As a parent, I don't even know words will ever express my gratitude. You know, first coming here and working with you and being so inspired to come in and start to do some working out with you and losing 13 pounds in a few weeks, and then having you suggest bringing my son here and having that father-son curriculum together and watching
Time.
and just watching him enjoy himself and getting exercise at the same time. What I may not have shared with you yet is that program has been introduced to his physical, speech, and occupational therapist in his educational program in the school district, where they're implementing some of the things that we're seeing that him being willing to do here with you into his daily curriculum at school. And they're using the fact that he looks up to Dan, the big gentle giant, and if he's kind of refusing to do something at school, they say, but Dan said you can do this. It's just flabbergasting. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Mitch. I can't say it means as much to us as a parent. I realize that that's not possible, but it really means a lot to us to see a child succeed and change and their quality of life improve. So it's our pleasure, truly.
Tamara, this is not the first time you've done something like this, and I want people to understand that, because my son being here kind of inspired somebody else that saw him working out here with you.
That's true. We have other parents that have children with different special needs, and they saw grand success and the changes in him in just a few short weeks. Not only the changes physically, which there have been a lot, which is incredible to watch, but his ability to interact with the environment around him. And that is the really cool part of all of this.
I understand that you are in the process of developing and establishing a 501c3, a foundation.
Correct.
To aid others. You offer these programs, which I want people to understand,
Yep.
For those who can't afford them, and then you also offer them for those who cannot. So let's talk about that 501c3 that's very in the works right now, about to be completed.
So it's always been really important for us to give back to the community, and we've done that a lot with children and with aging populace that are in a position where they're not financially able to participate in things. We have developed programs where we bring the kids in and get them ready for a sport so that they can have success. But more importantly, the training for the sport teaches them life skills, and it changes their life going into the future, gives them confidence, gives them discipline, and makes them feel good about who they are.
You've been giving back to the community, and people around you have witnessed that and wanted to get involved with this, and that's why this foundation is really being created. And I want to not only talk about that real quick, but I want to talk about the transparency that you're having with every dollar in, every dollar out transparency that's unprecedented in nonprofit.
Oh, I think there are a lot of nonprofits that are doing that. And the thing that we were fearful of is some of the getting painted with the same paintbrush that some very few organizations, but they've made such an impact on nonprofits because how they've done things unethically. We wanted to make sure that we set this foundation up in a way that there was total transparency, so that people that wanted to become involved and want to participate in helping make a difference in a child's life or an elderly person's life or someone who's had challenges in their life and maybe made some bad decisions, but they want to change that and they want to give back because of that, and they want to teach other people how to not make those bad decisions and support the process and recovery, right? Whatever that looks like. We've had people come to us and say, hey, we want to be a part of this. We want to help. Hence the foundation allowing people to put their time or resources or some finances into that so we can keep this program going and we can give back to our community in a bigger way.
I'm hoping some people watching this get involved and help contribute to this extraordinary cause. And I think one of the most fascinating things is that every dollar in, every dollar out is actually on your website on a page where they can see where their money's going.
Absolutely.
And that's transparency and integrity at the highest level, and I honor you for that. Chad, you're a world record holding powerlifter yourself, host of the podcast at American Iron, and a writer as well. How did you get your start in powerlifting?
I started in powerlifting back in around '97. Competed at a top level for almost 10 to 15 years, kind of in my retirement years as far as competing. I still compete just at a master's level now. I write a bi-monthly column for EliteFTS.com, and I'm hosting the new podcast here with Tammy for American Iron Gym, which is my home away from home, basically.
I couldn't be more excited about the fact that in Reno at American Iron Gym, there's a seminar going on today with a world-renowned powerlifter, Dan Green, who's here with his wife Sparkle, holding a seminar here at American Iron. And Chad, you're going to get to interview them today at the end of the seminar. What else is a big deal is your podcast. I want everyone to know that every Monday they can watch an American Iron Gym podcast. They go to your website, click your YouTube channel every Monday at 6 a.m. And this interview is going to be featured on the podcast. Let's take a look at that.
Your list of accomplishments is so long that I'm not going to remember it all. So I'm going to kind of have you start. I mean, let us know the things that you've done that are hugely impressive.
I think the time I've been competing has been like 7 years since I started as a powerlifter, and I've set a record for the total at 220 lifting in knee wraps, 220 lifting in sleeves, 242 in sleeves and raw, 242 in wraps. I set one record squat, just 220 in sleeves. I squatted 783.5. That was the record at the time. I guess the best accomplishment I would just say is that 242 I had set 2210 as a total. So I was basically the lightest person to total 1,000 kilograms.
That's a huge total.
Still my best total. So that's
for now.
That's the point I'm trying to build on.
I hope people enjoyed that part as much as I did. What an incredible, power lifter on top of just
a great person, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And also, thank you so much again for everything you do for our community, what you're doing for me personally, my son, and other families in our community. I honor you for that, and really thank you. On behalf of everybody that isn't here that's saying, me too, thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you for letting us be a part of your life.
There's some people right now that maybe heard about this special needs program that you're developing or the nonprofit, or just want to come and meet you and begin getting their own lives and health up to a higher standard. How can they get hold of you?
They can either call us at 856-IRON, or they can go on our website. It's American-Iron.com, and all our information's there. We welcome anyone.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. For information on becoming a guest on our show, contact us at info@nvbusinesschronicles.com. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week at the same time for more from Nevada Business Chronicles.